Hi everyone, Happy New Year. I hope that you had a fabulous Christmas and you got to spend it with the people that you love the most. I'm Lou Kitzelman and I live on the Sunshine Coast of Australia. This is the January Creating Kindness Design Team video hop and blog hop. You'll find a link to the blog post that goes with this video in the information below. You'll find a list of all the design team members who are doing the blog hop on my blog, and you'll find a list of the people who have got some videos to go with that in the information below this video. So the theme for January is Bendy cards. It's a really fun fold, and I remembered that I had taught this in a class quite a few years ago, and when I went to get the notes out to see how I did it, I saw that it was over 10 years ago, and I don't even know if I've made one since then, so I'm looking forward to showing you my new take on it. So it's always great to dig out old card folds and use new techniques and new ideas and new products with them, and I guess it's everything old is new again. So in a moment I'll flip the camera around and show you how to make this great bendy card, and I can't wait to see everyone in the design team's different versions of it. That'll be really fun. Now I'll be using metric, and I'll be using A4 cardstock. However, if you are in a country that uses letter side cardstock, I'll give you some information on how to adapt the card fold for that. So let's get on with making the bendy card. Rightio, let's have a look at how we're going to make the bendy card. To make this card, I'm going to use this new stamp set called the Vibrant Vases stamp set. It's from the Stampin' Up! Occasions catalogue, which was just launched today, January the 3rd. There's fabulous products in here. If you haven't got a catalogue yet and you live in Australia, let me know and I can get one to you. You'll love everything in here. And the really great thing as well is that it's celebration time up until the end of March, which means that for every $90 you spend on Stampin' Up! Products, that's Australian $90, you can choose one of the great free products from in this brochure. There's stamp sets, there's ribbon packs, there's designer series paper, there's so many different things. So that's something that I think you'll want to take advantage of. But on to this card. Now the great thing about the Vibrant Vases stamp set is that it pairs with the Vase Builder Punch, which was in the annual catalogue, and it also goes with the Varied Vases stamp set. So there's the same vase shapes in each stamp set that you can use the punch for, and it just gives you a bit more variety. This is just a really great punch bundle, and it's a really great price, and it's got this sort of watercolor type effect when you stamp the flowers. There's lots of different things you can do with this one. So what you need for the bendy card is a card base. Now normally I just get a piece of my cardstock and cut it in half one way and half the other, but I've just cut this down slightly because I wanted to use another new product, which is the rectangle stitched framelits shapes, and they've got a double stitched edge, which is really great, and I'll show you how that cuts out in a second. But these are made more for the US letter size cardstock. So this base is 10.5 by 14 centimeters, so that it fits nicely when I have the frame that I've made. And if you have a good look, you can see that there's a stitched edge either side. So when you cut the frame, I've just used the largest and the third largest framelits together, just like that, to cut out my image. But when you cut it out, you're left with a bit in the middle, which we'll use on the back. So you can see that each framelit puts a stitched edge either side of the solid part that it cuts. So here I've got basically two for the price of one, so I'll be able to do something with that. So it's a really fun, versatile set, so keep an eye out for that as well. So, and you can just cut that from just a solid sheet of cardstock. And then you need some flaps for the bendy part. Now they're just the width of the card base, whatever size you've made. In this case they're 10.5, and I've cut one at 5.5 and one at 4, because I want them to be a bit like a table or a box that the vase is sitting on. This is still a concept in my head, so hopefully it's all going to work out, but let's just see. And so what I've done is I've used thick white cardstock, and I've glued, using the multi-purpose glue, the designer series paper over the top just to give it a bit of stability, and I've scored at 1.5 centimeters, and then that's going to be my bendy flap. Okay, so on the base of my frame, just to save time, I've popped some foam adhesive strips, but I'm just going to take off the adhesive. I've just snipped the backing so that the top part is secured, but I want to put these underneath the foam. And so when I was having a play around with it, it was a bit hard to keep this in place. So if I just center this now, so the top part will be adhered, but the bottom part will just be free until I've added. Okay, so that's just still easy, so I'll be able to easily get my finger underneath and take the backing off. So the idea is that the bigger strip goes on first, so that'll be adhered down like that, with enough room that it can bend around, and we'll do a securing mechanism in a moment. So hopefully that will work. So let's just, I guess I just have to do it and see. So I'm using tear and tape because it's really strong. So I'm putting it on the side that's going to be, or the right side, because when that's folded, that's against the card base. So this is where I have to just cross my fingers and hope that the concept in my head comes to fruition. So I'm just going to sort of, so I want it lined up with the bottom, and I want it to be able to go around the frame. So I just need to pull it out a bit, I think, because it's got to bend. So I might just give it a couple of millimeters clearance. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I haven't got it quite at the bottom. Can I pull that down? Not quite. There we go. That's the good thing about tear and tape. It's really strong, but you've got to make sure it's on the right, in the right spot at the beginning. And then I'm going to secure that into there with a little tab. Now you'll see lots of videos where they cut the tab on here, and Jenny Hall, who's our head honcho at Creating Kindness, she's got a fabulous video for you to have a look at. I'll put the link on my blog, where she makes a really great Christmas bendy card, and she shows you how to do that. I've gone for a bit of a cheats option. I've cut out these shapes using the Tailor Tag punch, and I'm going to adhere it to my, it's got a bit of dirt on it, I might go that way. I'm going to adhere it to my flap. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark on where I want that to be. Oops. I'm just going to do the same on this one. There we go. And I'll cover that. Now the reason that I'm going for a bit of a bigger tab, and why I've decided to use this punch shape, is that I live in a really humid climate, particularly at this time of year, and I know from experience that 3D cards can get, the cardstock gets a bit damp, and so they go a bit limp and or woozy, and they just flop down. So this is my idea, just to try and circumvent that happening. But as I said, it's all a concept in my head, so we'll see how it works out. So, and then to save rubbing out, so what I'm using is my grid paper, so I've got that lined up, and then I'm just trying to make sure that my flap is square. Grid paper makes it all so much easier. And then that's going to go into a slot, which will be from there to there. Okay, now normally I'd use my paper trimmer, and that's what Jenny does on her great video, but I wanted to stick the frame on because I needed to know how the bendy bit got around, so I'm just going to use my scalpel and my steel ruler, my steel edge ruler, and I'm just going to go in between those pencil marks, and I've just put a craft mat underneath. Sorry if my head's in the way. Okay, and then we'll just check how that goes in. Yeah, and then my nice big tab will be secured underneath the backing later on. But yeah, that fits nicely. That's quite bendy. Maybe I've done it too bendy. Oh, look. We'll just say that I meant to do that, hey? Okay, let's take that one out. Let's pop this one in. So we'll add our tape. I'll just move that board. There we go. And then let's try and get this one lined up. Now, what did I say? I gave it a few mil clearance on the side so that it can bend. Yep, perfect. So let's stick that down. Let's go ahead. This is a bit hard to see, but all I'm doing is just taking the backing off the foam adhesive strips underneath, and I think that worked really well, just having half secured. It stopped it moving around and just sort of gave me a free hand. So stick that down. There we go. Okay, so let's just get my rubber eraser. I know that there's different meanings for that in different languages, different countries. Okay, so that's going to go in there. Lovely. And then this one's going to go like that. So you can see it's curved around, and my vases are going to sit on there. Oh, lovely. Now I'm aware that this video is going on a little bit longer than what I'd liked, but this is a more advanced card, so if you've hung in there, well done you, thank you very much. So let's get this one popped on as well. Now I'm going to put it up about there. There we go. There we go. Okay, and so then this one is going to go, how do you think that looks? Yes, you'll answer yes, that looks great, excellent. Okay, so let's get my little pencil, so that's going to be the start there, oops, and the finish there. Hopefully I can see that. No, I can't see that. Let's get maybe a green will work. So I want it to be a bit like that. Okay. Oh, silly, by using green I'm not going to be able to rub that out, am I? Hopefully you won't see it. My rule. So there's those two marks there. Now, of course, you could do the slits exactly the same way that Jenny's instructions say, but as I said, I've just used thick cardstock, and I've just wanted to give a bit more stability in this type of weather that we're having in Queensland in Australia at the moment. Okay, oh, that's cute. So far, so good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and I won't do the, oh yes, we'll do the back first. The reason I'm going to do the back is I just want to make sure that that's covered. It's going to be covered, but not stuck down. Okay, so when I put the tape on the back of this, I'll put just some there, and what I'm doing is I'm leaving it clear so that I'm not going to tape where that tab will come out. You won't see it, but I just don't want to hinder it, so I'll just Go like that and like that. That should be enough. Are you like me and use lots of tape? Okay, so then that will sort of keep it all nice and tight, and then nice and tidy. And then we'll add that stitch rectangle that I had left over from my frame. Rightio. So, oh, I've done the wrong bit, haven't I? That was silly. Let's just roll that off. I was forgetting it was mirror image, wasn't I? Oh dear. Okay. There we go. So it's going on like that. So this bit here has to be free. Do you talk to yourself like this? Or am I the only crazy person? Okay, there we go. So now we've got that part free, we're going to get that flat and center it. There we go. And then when that goes in, it's got a nice little nest, but you're not seeing it there, and it's not covered by tape. And then we've got this. Now I've gone ahead and stamped my vases and punched them out, and then I've stamped the flowers. Let's just bring the stamp set in and have a look. I've stamped the flowers. And the vase. Okay, and you get this beautiful sort of watercolory effect. Now I didn't do the tulips because I was a bit worried about how I was going to attach these, because these are going to be sort of free, and then you have these beautiful daisies. So the idea is that I'm going to stick one on there. I'm going to sort of, it's going to be sort of like this idea. I don't think sort of like, I think actually like that. What do you reckon? Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to have just the bottom bit attached to here, and I'm going to I'll stamp one of these on the back and just show you how I did those. So I'm going to use glue dots. I think that will give it a really nice stable. And actually, oh yeah, I'll use glue dots because that will sort of allow for the flex. So let's just, that one's going to go, so if we have a tall, a short, and now tall, what should we do? Yeah, I might go with that. Okay, so let's do this middle one first. I'm going to put 2 glue dots on, and I'm just going to take them off the roll. So if I put this one on first, so that'll sit there, and then this fellow will go here. And the way that you, oh my cat's been on there, there's cat hair. The way that you do the bendy part will be determined by what sort of stamp set you're using. Let's pop that one on there. Oh cool, let's just give them a bit of, there we go. And I've stamped these onto thick Whisper White as well, because they're going to be standing up. I just wanted to give them a bit more rigidity. And then what do you think if we put this one here? Oops. There we go. So when it stands, you'll be able to see that. And of course you could add, you know, more pots, but I was already a complicated card and I wanted to sort of not overcomplicate it. I wanted to sort of just showcase the flowers. And then I'm going to add just a little sentiment on here. Okay, I'm going to use this Celebrate, but I just want to use the Celebrate Not Every Tiny Victory because I'm not sure what I want to use this for. I might want to use it for a birthday card. So I'm just using Lovely lipstick, which I've used for the flowers here. And I'll just show you the envelope. See how I've masked off the tiny writing, so you just get the Celebrate. I think that sentiment will be really great for certain things, but I want this card to be used for, or more useful for, more different things. So I've inked it up, and then I've got a long piece of old washi tape, and you just, oops, I've covered the C, so I might just get a new bit that I haven't used. Then you just cover up your bit that you don't want, and then I'm just using another of the stitched or rectangle stitched framelits that I've already cut out. There we go. Now I've put this towards the top so that I can tie a neat little bow around there. Now, what do you think? Should I use Lovely lipstick ribbon? Yeah. I just haven't got that out, so I'll just quickly grab that out. But I do also have that one. No, I think I'll use the Lovely lipstick. The Grapefruit Grove would look nice as well, but I might just use that. Yep, okay. So I'm just going to pop a little glue dot at the bottom on each end of the back, that the ribbon, and then I'll pop one on the front. There, and that will just give me a little way to hold that in place. So secure it on the back, secure it there, and then we'll just tie a bow. Okay, now this ribbon I find can come undone a bit. Sorry, I'm using too many. I need a third hand. So I find if I pop a glue dot underneath the knot, then it holds, oops, that in place. So, you know, normally you'd get someone to pop their finger there. Well, it just sort of helps you out a bit. Okay, tie the bow. I'm so sorry this video is going on a bit longer, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy making these. I can't wait to see what the rest of the design team have come up with. It's amazing to see one card fold done in so many different ways. Yeah, how lovely is that? There you go. I might just... Okay, so I need to put some foam adhesive strips underneath the end. It's going to be down there. Now, of course, I could use semi-dimensionals, but they are a different, slightly different height. So I'll use the same height that's on the frame, so that it'll won't dip down. There we go, and then just going to pop a Stampin' Dimensional there. There we go. That's the front. How lovely is that? Let's have a quick look at the back. And what I didn't say was that, oh, that's going to be a design floor, isn't it? They're supposed to be able to sit flat. Okay, so let's cut this one. So this one needs to be trimmed. There we go. And then it can sit flat in the envelope. I'll go and trim that a little bit more so that it can sit flat. That was something I didn't think about, and I'll leave that one longer. That will be fine. Okay, so on the back I'm going to pop that, so I'll tape that on later on. I've already stamped one of those that I will raise on Stampin' Dimensionals, and then I'll do another vase here. So I'll just stamp the vase using Blueberry Bushel, and I'll bring in my punch. Now when I go to punch it, I'll be putting the strip in like that, so I'll leave my punch the way that I'm going to be putting the paper in, the cardstock in, and that helps me orientate my stamping, because you don't want to be having it around the wrong way. So I've got a handle, and I keep all these scraps for things like this, and so just line it up very carefully. There we go, and punch it out. So that's going to go on there, and then let's add some flowers. So I'm just going to stamp the outline of the daisies. Oops, luckily that's going to go over there. What a klutz. Just wipe my fingers. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the vase there. Now I'll move it away. That's where my flowers are going to go. Okay, and then because they're photopolymer, it's really easy to see where to stamp. When I'm adding my stamps to my blocks, I make sure that I orientate them the right way, so that I'm going to be having my block sort of square rather than having to fiddle around with it. So I'm just going to have to bring this a bit closer to me, and you just hover your stamp over. Now these don't fill in the shapes absolutely fully, because it gives this sort of watercolour effect, so you get some light and some shade, which is really fun. And then there's some leaves, and there's this tiny little leaf stamp that fills in those little leaves there. So let's just, sorry, I'm just going to get that close to me. There we go. Alright, and then I would just use a Stampin' Dimensional on the one there, on there, and then you can just add that. So it's sort of sitting on the dotted line. There we go. And then I'll add some tape to that, and I'll add that just like, actually I might add that on that side so that it sort of mirrors that. I'll play around with that, and you can see some pictures on my blog. So thanks for hanging in there. Sorry this has been such a long video, but it is such a fun card that I thought you might like to see a way to just adapt it and get a slightly different effect. And I think this is going to be a really great way to showcase this gorgeous Vibrant Vases stamp set. And I could see that I can use this with one of the other great bundles in the New Occasions catalogue, which is the Piece of Cake, which has got some great cakes and cake stands. So this is just a really fun bendy card. I hope you've liked it. Make sure you check out the Occasions catalogue. And if you haven't got one yet, let me know and I can get one for you. Thanks everybody. Don't forget to click on the link to the next person and keep hopping around. Bye.